It's that time again.
Watch out! Here it comes. Watch out! Here it comes. Watch out! Here it comes. Watch out! Your attention, folks.
Welcome to the Courtside Podcast. I'm your host, Wayno, and with me, the People's Champ, Peter Vince. Welcome back to the show.
Hello from lockdown 2020.
Damn.
Oh, jeez.
Still going. Just
Way to bring the show down, Vince.
Play the
no,
the violin soundtrack.
tell me what it's like to be able to go out, Stu.
Hang on a second, I just got to catch my breath. I'm skipping in a meadow.
You bastard. Probably naked too.
And of course, we're joined by Sydney's second richest man in the Meadows, Stu Benson.
I'm frolicking along with my guy, Michael Porter Jr. We're both wearing clothes, but we're excited.
You tried to tell him.
Try to tell him. I'm having a good time up here in Sydney, and we're feeling for everybody in Victoria. And we know we've got quite a few listeners and Courtside Facebook page bantering members from there. It's shit, guys. But we're all in your corner, and you'll get out of it soon.
Yeah. Plenty of playoff talk to happen tonight. I do want to address something that happened, I suppose, start of the week with the announcement of Steve Nash, the new head coach. Definitely came out of left field, that's for sure. Being announced new head coach of the Brooklyn Nets, of course, and there's that big mouth on telly sometimes. I don't know, man. He gets bored with his $1 million contract now and just has to say really dumb shit. And of course, talk about that Stephen A. Smith, who we've, I don't know if we like him.
I don't mind him. I like him.
On occasion, I feel like he's bringing up Steve Nash and the appointment of Steve Nash as white privilege was misplaced. I don't want to excuse that it's not an issue, because clearly it is. Clearly that's why we have a lot of riots and whatnot going on. Because of Steve Nash, yeah. But, I mean,
Steve.
His points were trash, absolute trash.
Yeah, I think in a very busy media landscape, these guys have got to cut through, and unfortunately, that sensationalism, clickbait nonsense. I genuinely, I'd be very surprised if in his heart of hearts he believes that. I don't know. I like that Charles Barkley came back and rattled off the top of his head, coaches who got, black coaches who got jobs. But there's no denying that the numbers wise, yeah, there is no equality. But I mean, do you interview and drag somebody through the ring of interviewing them and giving them false hope if that's not the person that you want to have running your team? I mean, you don't want people sitting in meetings for the sake of tokenism and for the sake of some faux feeling of equality. I mean, for God's sake, if KD was on board and Kyrie Irving was on board and Sean Marks was on board and this was the guy that they wanted, that's why they didn't interview other people. They got the guy they wanted.
Yeah, and look, we've had Indiana fire their coach, we've had Philly fire their coach. It's been the same carousel of fucking coaches' names all season. Do you know what I mean? Like Jason Kidd's putting his hand up at any goddamn HC job that's gone around. Like, why not some fresh meat? And then to Steve Nash, 2-time MVP, Hall of Famer. I mean, has been coaching with the Golden State Warriors, already has that bond with KD, obviously. Stephen A. forgets, of course, about his involvement in the Canadian national team as well. Like, put your fucking head in, Stephen A.
Yeah, and this hiring has got Kevin Durant's fingerprints all over it. It's from the Golden State days. He worked closely with Steve Nash. He's got a relationship with Steve Nash. And Kyrie signed off on it. So that's all it is. It's nothing to do with race, colour, whatever.
Best
it's just who they wanted, It's if Steve Nash was black and had that same relationship with Kevin Durant at Golden State and was coaching him, guess what? He'd be hired. It's got nothing to do with whether he's white, black, green, pink.
You know what? Like to counter it, Vince, if Stephen A would have come out and said this is point guard privilege, I think he would have had a fucking point. Poor old Patrick Ewing's been burning on sidelines for years.
He has. Patrick's tried for head coaching positions.
My God, man. Point guard privilege is definitely a thing. Like, all those head coaches you rattled off, all point guards.
But he's the colour aside, I think I like it. I think Steve Nash will take to it like what takes really well. Duck to water. Stop interrupting, Wayne.
I'm sorry. I'm waiting for you to talk so I can jump in. But go.
You can get stuff now. I'm not saying anything. Benson?
I don't know. It just felt like outrage for the sake of outrage. I clearly think that as an organisation, Marks had obviously had some dialogue with him, and yes, it caught everybody by surprise. Nobody thought that. Well, obviously other teams probably didn't know that Nash was in consideration. Marks did, and they've come to an agreement. This is a guy who, gets their superstars, who has relationships with them, or is going to build rapport almost instantly with Kyrie, who is an interesting cat. Like he's wired completely differently. And if you want to look at a motor and a driver from the point guard position to run a team, historically, go and have a look at what Steve Nash did, and then tell me that he's not well suited for this job, because you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Like all those guys that supposedly have inside info, no one knew about it. I didn't see his name brought up anywhere. So this is where Kevin Durant's fingerprints are all over it, because Durant's brought it up, said let's go get him. He's really good. They've signed off on it.
Oh, mate, it's one of those things that Chris Broussard talks about afterwards, like as if he knew. Nobody knew.
Yeah.
No one had a clue.
Cops a lot of shit, Broussard, doesn't he?
Yeah, deservingly.
He's a guy.
He wouldn't if he was white.
Vincent.
Wait.
No, exactly. A dickhead's a dickhead.
Well, look, we should jump into some playoff talk before we go on wild tangents. Man, some interesting games since we last talked. We should definitely get into
we last talked. I think we've had 3 NBA drafts and 4 new champions since we last talked.
I know, right? I'm blaming Vince. Too much time on his hands.
Oh, yeah, I wish. Damn.
We need to talk about this Milwaukee-Miami series. Obviously, Miami going ahead, they win the series 4-1. Milwaukee good enough to win one game without Giannis, which was pretty impressive. I thought that at least a little bit of credit to their name, I suppose. But, I mean, all the talk obviously has been what will Giannis do? And he's saying all the right things right now. But for me, even with Giannis in this, I just feel like Miami had their number all series.
I tell you who came out and just absolutely balled was Goran Dragic.
Yeah.
He balled, man. It's like a fountain of youth or something, whatever he's drinking. Send some my way, but he was unstoppable. Scoring, he was just, couldn't believe it. He was a major factor in them getting past.
This Miami squad, man, there's got so many different pieces, and like they're a weird matchup at times for teams, and Giannis had like quite a bit of trouble, especially those first few games with just trying to get his head around defending Bam.
Yeah, and plus offensively he has one move.
Yeah.
These guys, they're going to the finals.
Yeah, I think so too.
Stop it.
No, this guy.
No, dude.
Far out. Would you stop? If they're going to the finals and we make it, give us the rings.
Well, maybe, but they're going. They're coming.
Oh, they're not. They're not going. They're not getting past Boston.
I don't care. Oh, Boston aren't
hey,
through.
Boston have got to get over Toronto first.
That's right.
Toronto have got the mental edge in this.
They do. And they've won the last 2 games now?
The gritty games that all the commentators said that they were done. They're dragging around the corpse of Marc Gasol and they're still winning games.
Mm-hmm.
They dodged a bullet today. They won't win Game 7.
Oh, come on. Come on, Vince.
Look, Wayne, you know it. There's no Kawhi there this year.
Doesn't matter. They're a good team. I think they something happened. I think in that. I don't know what it was those first two games. I just think maybe Boston came in maybe a bit more engaged, but
Maybe Boston's better.
they're not though. They're really not.
Okay.
That's okay. It's okay to be wrong every now and then.
You know, the only chance they've got, Toronto, is Siakam's going to pull his finger out.
He has been a little MIA, hasn't he?
I'll tell you what, without Kawhi there, taking the pressure off him, he's struggled a bit. He's turned into Jimmy Butler.
No, he plays well in the season though. I think it's just I don't know.
Yeah. See, I'm not talking about season, Wayne. I'm talking about playoffs.
I was thinking today about this because I knew sort of Siakam would come up. And do you think that maybe we're still sort of seeing the effects of the bubble on certain players? Like I know a lot of these other guys, especially the veteran guys, it's back to business sort of thing. But do you think there's still a little bit of that? This is a new surrounding, everything's a little bit different, a little bit off for them. No, you don't think so?
Nah. These guys got no excuses. They've got, they're playing on the same hoop, on the same floor. They're not jumping on planes. They're not jumping on buses. They're walking back to their hotels. They're getting rest. They're getting iced immediately. They're getting recovery. This is now like playing on your home court. Both teams have got home court advantage every night. I don't think there's any excuse. I just think Siakam's being exposed for what he is at the moment, and he's not the man. I mean, he just doesn't have the repertoire. He doesn't have the arsenal of moves. He's almost predictable. He's very Giannis-like in what he tries to do in the block. He's the third guy on that team.
I agree to an extent. I don't think he's the man, but I also feel like he's better than this.
Yeah, he is when Kawhi's there.
Oh, come on.
Dude, Kawhi took so much pressure off him in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
He really did. It was geez, Siakam scored 36.
Yeah, okay. But
because everyone's focused on Kawhi.
They didn't sleepwalk their way to the playoffs either.
No, but Kawhi's a massive mate. You're telling me it doesn't make his and Gasol's job easier? Of course it does. He's not there this year in the playoffs. It's going to be tougher for him. He's just got to pull it out.
Yeah. No, I agree.
He's got to lift.
I'll tell you what, Kemba was ordinary today. Honestly, if Boston want to win, he cannot have another game like he had today. He was literally just invisible for just too much. I get it, they don't have Hayward, but they do have offensively. I mean, they've probably got the three of the four best players in the series are on their team.
Yeah, and you can't play a double OT game, play 51 plus minutes, and finish with 5 points, 4 boards, and 7 assists.
You had 5 points.
5 points.
Oh, I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, we talked about early on, I think in the first or second round, just about Kemba. And I think my concern with Boston at the time, I think I mentioned, was just that they've got to have enough firepower past Jaylen Brown and Tatum. I mean, those guys are playing great together. It's really good to see them. The chemistry's there and they play well together. But Kemba's got to bring something to the table.
I'll tell you what, you always used to say this about Kemba. He's battle-tested, mate. Kemba, mate, he'll come good. And you know who's been really solid for Boston? The center they're playing, Daniel Tice, is it?
Yeah.
Really solid. And Marcus Smart. Did he get the triple-double today? He's on triple-double watch.
Yeah, 23, 11, 10.
Yeah.
So
God, he's good.
They've got enough. They're doing enough. Toronto just dodged a bullet.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't feel like they've got enough firepower. Like Stu said, Kemba can't have another game like that. That's for sure. Or else Toronto are going through. But it's all on the line next, I suppose. Well, that was an interesting talk about Miami, and
kind of jumped off.
I don't know why.
Let's go back to Miami.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Look, as far as the Miami series, they wait for the winner of Boston Toronto, like we mentioned. Look, I've been super impressed with Miami this whole series. My boy Hero. Woo! I love that kid. He's so good. He played so well that game 5. I was so happy for him. But it's been definitely a team effort. Let's jump to the Bucks for a little bit, because where do you go now if you're the Bucks? I mean, obviously pieces need to be moved, some adjustments need to be made. I really feel like we spoke on the private chat about the rumors of Chris Paul. the potential of him landing there. I think Corver's looking to hang him up. Marvin Williams announced his retirement after the series. So where do you go now from Giannis' point of view and the franchise's point of view?
You need to find Giannis a second banana, like a legit one. They've overpaid Middleton. Middleton is not a second banana. What are they paying him? 172? It's about 100 mil.
Yeah, it's a lot.
150 too much. They're going to tinker with the roster. I don't know who they can get at the moment. Probably going to see who's a bit disgruntled or trying to target someone. But gee, one of you guys said it in our private chat. Malcolm Brogdon would have been handy.
Oh,
in this series.
Yeah, I said it. I just genuinely that's the one thing that I think they just cocked up. He wouldn't have saved them this series, but
it would have been a tough fight though.
They messed up.
I mean, this is the thing though, right? Like, totally agree with you. Like, but they can't fucking sulk on that. It can't be spilt milk forever. They need to.
No, we're just talking.
But I think to that same sort of effect, if you can bring in a guy like Chris Paul and, you can manage to keep Bledsoe and move Bledsoe back to the bench role, which I think you'd be fine with. I mean, sure, it's been a few.
If you're Giannis, you can be happy with them bringing in a guy who's nearly 36 as a point guard.
I think he gets you closer to where you want to be than what you finished this season. And
do you get rings for getting closer? That's their goal, mate.
You get those Disney rings.
They're a really, really good team who just need to find their superstar another legit second option. I mean, Lopez is fine for today's game. He shoots the three. DiVincenzo, like, if he can improve next year.
I like that kid, man.
Yeah, he's all right.
They've got good little young pieces. Like, Connaughton's good.
Yeah.
DiVincenzo's good. I mean, they've got. Yeah, I don't know what they need, man. I really
They'll
don't.
get better. They just need to find someone who's going to fit. It'll make a world of difference. It's almost a poor man's Pistons team from 2004, but not quite as good.
What are they playing Giannis at? Is he playing power forward or small forward, or is just switching between?
Mate, he's at center, he's at power forward, he's at point guard, he's everywhere.
I just feel like, do you need a good two guard or do you need a good wing? I mean,
you do. I think you need a good wing. I think you need a two / I think you need a athletic two.
Are you saying Wesley Matthews is not enough? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, jeez.
Talk about going downhill quick. God. The Ringer, the guys were talking the other day, and I'm completely on board. I think Giannis is your modern evolution of the center, and I'd be playing him at the 5, and I'd be looking to see what I could get for Lopez.
Oh yeah,
jeez.
Yeah, I just think they need to stop trying to make him shoot threes. He's got an awkward mechanic. He's not a fluid 3-point shooter. And I think he's best when he's within 16 foot of the key, or if he's got a head full of steam. And I think he's sort of the hybrid between everything that Philly were trying to do was just be super tall and super athletic, and everything that Houston are trying to be, which is just small and quick. I think he's a perfect small ball 5. He's just, and that's ironic because he's 7 foot tall, but he's just what he can do at his size. There's no 5 in the league that could stop him, no 4 in the league that could stop him. I don't know. I'd be looking to see what I can get for Lopez.
Do you think, now that you mentioned him, do you think if Embiid becomes available, they'll make a run at Embiid?
Ooh. Oh, like a sign and trade. Yeah.
But then you've got to hope that you can convince Embiid to actually get himself into tip-top shape.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure that penny's dropped yet. Maybe a trade will make the penny drop. Who knows?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. And I still think you do need to then make a run at a 1 or a 2 guard.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, and talking about the potential of Chris Paul, I mean, that Thunder team, mate, they were so close to pinching it from Houston. So close. I mean, such an interesting year from them. Look, my tip of the cap to Chris Paul, and what was it? Him along with those guys were able to do this season. they hold all the cards. It's just interesting what direction they choose to take heading into next year.
They've got look, they've got a lot of options. I mean, they've got Paul they can trade. They've got like 1,000 draft picks.
Mm.
They've got a couple of bite-sized contracts that a team could absorb and waive or absorb and move on. They've got or they run it back and they keep him. I mean, who knows?
Well, because I'm like everyone online is throwing out this Chris Paul to Bucks scenario or Chris Paul to Philly, and that's great and all. But I'm looking at this OKC roster and what they've done this year with the pieces they have, and I'm like, well, what do they offer that OKC really want? I mean, like you said, Stu, they've got enough picks. I mean, it's not as if unless you're floating around a number one pick somewhere, then they hold the cards, right? It's all about their direction moving forward.
If OKC are going to rebuild, they'll take back expirings.
Oh, definitely.
So that's what they'll be getting. But why Billy Donovan, man? Like,
He walked.
What a great job he did.
Look, I don't like him as a coach, but
why? What is the problem with him as coach?
No.
What do you got against white coaches?
Look, I have not been a fan of him, but look, I'm not going to take away anything that those guys achieved this season because they did a fantastic job. It was a mutual agreement as well. Okay, so
I think someone else is on the radar.
But he doesn't want to go through a rebuild. That's what it was. It's like, Billy, we're rebuilding. Oh, okay, see ya.
Yeah,
but they've got enough young pieces, Vince. I don't think they're going into a full rebuild mode.
Oh, methinks they are.
They are?
Yeah, well, it sounds like it. From what you read and hear, because we're well connected. It sounds like it's going to be, rip it down and build it back up again.
I think someone's got their eye on Donovan, and I think he knows it. I think this was to make sure that he was free up and available. I think we'll be seeing him in NBA circles.
Philly?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
I've heard D'Antoni's already agreed to be coaching New Orleans.
Yeah, I've heard that he's going to Pels, and it's a done deal.
I would hate that. I would hate that so much. How's this guy keep getting a job? Jesus Christ.
Tell you what, Zion's going to need to drop some weight because dude's going to be running.
Say goodbye to your knees. He should go talk to Amari before he gets his phone.
You know who's going to look real good in this system?
Lonzo.
Yeah. It'll be a bit of fool's gold. He's going to get paid.
But at least Zion will be able to rest his knees on the defensive end. So there's that.
True.
Word.
Well, let's talk about Mike. And my goodness, I've never been such a big Lakers fan in my life. I just do not want to see Houston go through. If you guys lose to Houston, I'll never forgive you.
I'll tell you what, knocking that absolute flog of a bloke coach Peanut out of the playoffs is just as good as a championship in my book.
Not that good.
For me it's great.
It's up there.
The amount of hatred I have for this person, Mike Daniel D'Antoni, I seriously, I hope he gets fired. I hope he never coaches again. I just hate the man with a passion for what he did at the Lakers, what he did to Pau Gasol. You fuck with Pau Gasol, you fuck with me. That's.
I just want to see this style of play die. Like I feel sorry for it because I think they probably left the show, listening to the show now, but we've had Houston fans on the courtside page before, at top guys, but I just cannot stand this style of basketball. And I hope when D'Antoni goes, the style goes out the window as well because they haven't won anything with it, thank God. But my God, sitting through like Houston games sometimes are just like.
It's pretty crazy when guys are cutting and driving to the hoop and then they kick out to the 3-point line instead of dropping the ball in the basket. Like this just desire to shoot from that far out at every fucking opportunity it's just not enjoyable basketball.
No, it's all played to milk fouls and shoot the 3 ball for 48 minutes, which, I mean, thank God you guys won game 3 because I was beginning to think that PJ Tucker was the best fucking center in the league. Jesus Christ. Thank God he had a freaking game like he should be having with 3 points, 4 rebounds, like in game 3, because before that, like, I don't know what the hell. Anthony Davis looked like he was sleepwalking in game 2. Jesus, man. Like, it's just finally, game 3, we saw some lobs. So happy to see playoff Rondo stick his head out there, though.
Let me tell you something about Rondo. He's got that look in his eye. He's got that game face on.
Mm-hmm.
He's...
Oh, bring on Patrick Beverley.
Man, as soon as you said that yesterday, Stu, I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that matchup. Oh, my God.
I cannot wait.
How long? How long would you give him before they fight? Like, how long?
Oh, dude, it's going to be the first play.
Tip off.
100%. It's going to be the first play.
Rondo's going to step on his foot and...
Cannot wait.
Look, I think it's that game 3, I think it was. Westbrook. Well, no, he played well game 3. I think it was maybe game 2.
Yeah, game 2, he stunked it up.
Game 2, he handed you that game. It just seems to be...
Piss of flame. No one hands us games. We take them.
Okay, well, fair. So like a true Laker fan. Westbrook is really struggling with this Houston squad. It feels just like, I don't know, when he won the MVP, he had the season of triple doubles, and it was great and everything. And then the next year he came out and did the same thing, and I was like, man, we've seen this. Like, we've seen how far this got you as well. I still feel like he's in that mode, and I don't feel like he's going to win anything until he changes.
What do you want him to change exactly with this Houston squad?
I just feel like he needs to sacrifice more. Like, I mean, he can't do it on this team, this roster with this coach, though. I mean, I feel like that's pretty clear. I don't know, man. It's the same sort of feeling I get with Giannis as well. It's like, okay, he was MVP. He doesn't need to be MVP. He needs to play. He needs to sacrifice a bit more. I mean, he needs upgrades on the team, but it's a point where you can still be that guy. Like, man, you can still answer the call when the time is needed. But
here's what I see when I watch Houston. I look at their backcourt and go, you've got a point guard who plays like, who thinks he's a shooting guard, and you've got a shooting guard who thinks he's a point guard that can score. It works to a point, I think. Like, you win some games, but like you said, you never win an anything. We've said it for years, like, with that system. You never win an anything. Yeah. All you do is win games.
Stu?
Just say it, Stu. Say it. Go on.
No, look, you've covered it all.
D'Antoni.
Fuck D'Antoni, but it's not good basketball. It's not enjoyable basketball. It's kind of I don't know what they need Russ to do. He's not doing. Like, so Russ still commands a double team because he's running at pace, because he's, I don't know, when he gets the ball, he's turned into a little bit of a black hole in the playoffs. This is a guy who can get you 10 assists when he wants to, and when he wants to average a triple-double, but he clearly is past that at the moment. He's got a bum leg with this quad, so we know that, but he is not doing the things that put teams on their defensive heels. He is not driving. He is not cutting. Like, he does it a couple of times a game, and you remember that's sort of trademark prototypical Russ. But for the most part, he is just settling. And when he settles, nobody else is getting open, and nobody else is getting open shots, and he's not creating for anybody. He has had some all right games in the box score, but you actually watch that output in the game, and you honestly, they won't get another game on us.
You raise good points, and the reason he's not doing that, Stu, is because it's not his team. This is not OKC, and D'Antoni's not running any of that stuff for him.
Oh, yeah. The whole look, it's like the playbook is get the ball to Harden. That's obviously the playbook.
Oh my God, I think I counted like 18 bounces from Harden the other day. I was at work, I was watching, had the game on the background. I stopped and I looked and I was like, 1, 2, 3, like 18 bounces before he decided to do anything with the ball. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, which is a little bit annoying because, look, as a Lakers fan, I mean, LeBron can be guilty of doing that, and people, say that he turns players into 3-point marksmen and things like that because they sit and watch and wait for the ball. But
not every possession.
But not every possession, and the likelihood of him creating for somebody is much higher than Harden. And you're right. He just dribbles, and the shot's coming, and sometimes you just can't stop it. The guy is incredible and very talented as a shooter, but again, it's just terrible to watch.
Lulls him to sleep.
Oh God, lulls national audiences to record lows.
Well, look, you guys got a game tomorrow against Houston. I sincerely hope that you get that one as well. Being the Laker fans you guys are, what do you want to see from your team more? Like who? I mean, I don't think I've noticed McGee hasn't been getting much burn. Like I think it's gone against running McGee right now. But is there someone you want to see lift the game? Great to see Rondo back, as we said, but
I just want to see us stop having these lulls when we get a lead. We seem to get a lead and we just have these lulls where we let a team come back. That's what annoys me. But I think just on McGee, he's got a sore ankle, I think, too.
Yeah.
Is Dwight Howard injured? Because he hasn't played the last 2 games.
No, we're just not playing him.
Matchups, yeah, fair enough. Waiters has done his groin. I thought we'd see Waiters a bit more, but that won't happen now. I think, from what I've seen of J.R. Smith, really struggling to get comfortable with this team. I still think he can help, but the minutes I've seen him play throughout the weeks, he just doesn't look comfortable.
I don't know if it's a time off, Vince, but man, he looks old. He looks old to me right now. Like,
does he? He still looks quick to me. Like I thought, when I do things, he's still quick. He can still defend.
No, he looks fit. Like he looks like he looks like he's dropped weight, but he just looks, I don't know, man, drained.
I know what you mean. It's facially, right?
Yeah. It looks very drained in the face and worn. Like,
yeah.
I was like, oh wow, okay. Like, shit, has it been that long?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. He's still quick and he still looks fit, but he looks fucking tired.
Yeah.
There was a game where I actually thought he was half baked. The game where he stepped out of bounds.
Oh, was that every game?
I'm like, this dude's half baked. He's got to be. Like,
oh, when he shot the 3-pointer from outside.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Like he's nah. I swear he was half baked that game.
I want to see a little bit more of the version of Kuzma that we saw in Game 3, which was he was like a dog on these offensive boards and these cuts and these baseline just popping up out of nowhere, and he was really like utility like. It was, I don't know who he reminded me of, but it really wasn't the Kuzma that I'd seen before over the last couple of years. It was like he was totally content with not having anything run for him and just to be scrapping and just filling lanes and doing put-back dunks and stuff. And I just thought, like, shit, dude, like, you're totally unstoppable in that role. Totally unstoppable in that role with his athleticism and his height and his hops. And I don't know, we need more from him and Twin as well. Morris needs to give us what he gave us, which was just instant offense.
I'll tell you 2 words about Kyle Kuzma.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Dudley.
Well,
I don't know if you follow Duds on Twitter, but he's a good follow. He posted a couple of videos of Kuzma playing defense.
Okay.
And basically, he was just saying that he's been working with Kuzma on like teaching him how to say straight up when you jump up and all this sort of stuff. And he was putting little videos up of Kuzma doing it like the last game. And Duds has just been working with him, like just telling him when you're out there, do this, do that. If you're not scoring, do this. It seems to be working. Like he's our X factor, Kuz. Like if he can give us 15 a night, especially in the playoffs, and sometimes a bit more than that, mate, we'll be good to go.
Yeah, he was really he was a standout for me. Box score wise, I don't even know what he had, but he was just physically, just watching him when he was out there, he was in he maximized his minutes like I've never seen him before. It was awesome to watch.
Well, he probably picked up a lot from Dudley, and Dudley, of course, as we all know, probably picked up a lot from Steve Nash, who would make a great head coach. Oh, wait. Anyway, we should jump to the other series going on in the West, and that is, of course, the Clippers-Denver series, which 3-1. Clippers, they get the win today.
Denver in 7.
Denver in 7.
That's what I was hoping for.
Ooh, it'd be good.
A lot needs to change with Denver if that's going to happen. I'm kind of enjoying the back and forth between the Clippers players and I think they're in the head coaches' heads, actually, to be honest.
Speaking of the head coaches, do you guys rate Michael Malone?
Not. I'm not hugely high on him. No.
Really?
I think he's okay. I don't know. What can you judge? You can only judge on the teams they've got, right?
Well, he coached at Sacramento. I thought he did a good job in Sacramento.
I thought he did a good job in Sacramento. Yep.
For a team that didn't make the playoffs, he did all right.
Was that a shot?
Maybe.
Piece of shit. And I think he's done a really good job in Denver. He gets canned a lot on social media, about that he's just not a great coach. Second round.
I don't think he deserves any of that. I think he's earned his stripes, coaching wise, and he's better than a lot of coaches they've had, in the past. This series, actually, Jamal Murray, he just needs to find whatever he was drinking in the Utah series. And that was so much fun to watch, the back and forth between him and Donovan Mitchell. It was great, but I know it's more matchup wise in this series. And LA are just doing a great job on him. Joker's still presenting his problems for them, of course, but just LA, man, is locked in, and Kawhi's just all playoffs, man. Since the playoffs started, just going about his business. Like Paul George had a bit of a quiet one in today's game, 10-3-3, but they didn't really need him to go for 30 or anything like that today either. So he just sort of, I suppose, just played his part. I just feel like Clippers, they've got more experience. I just feel like, I don't know what it is about this Denver squad. I feel like they're just missing something. And I don't want to say it's like, because I don't really feel like they're just missing that superstar. I think we used to say that about Denver, maybe a few years ago. They've got a good solid squad, but they're just missing that one piece to get them over the line. I don't feel like that's really the case, but it does feel like something's missing. And I think it's more a rotation issue or guys knowing their role when I watch Denver.
See, I look at Denver and I see them as another team who's got enough young pieces that if those young pieces improve, and the guy who's got the most potential, apart from Stu's boy, is Jamal Murray. When he takes that next step, Denver will take that next step. Yeah. Murray's the key here, I feel. I just think he's that young, he's still improving, and he can take that next step if he keeps working, which I think he is one of those gym rat guys who wants to be good.
I just feel like he needs to be, they just need to give him the keys. Because they chop and change him between the one and the two. Just making the one, he plays much better with the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
He's a good decision maker. We saw that Utah series. He can light it up when needed, and I feel like that, you talk about him making that leap, Vince. It's like, yeah, sometimes the best move is to make no moves at all. And I feel like he did make a jump in that Utah series because he had a quiet start to that series and then he ignited and then he took the challenge, him and Mitchell going back and forth. It's a little bit of a shame because I do feel like he's just been defended really well because the Clippers have the tools to do that to him in this series and quieten him. But that being said, it's just like I said, Joker's still kind of doing his thing. But it's just, I don't know, I just feel like guys on that squad outside of those two don't really know their roles. Like,
I think they, in terms of injuries and getting their full team on paper as well. I mean, look, they haven't had full access. I mean, only just like the last two games with Gary Harris. They don't have Barton, so they don't have these guys that during the regular season and in seasons past have been very strong contributors for them. And look, I know that Michael Porter's giving them some of the points that they have been missing, but he's an absolute liability on defense at an NBA level at the moment. I don't know. I think in this series in particular, Joker needs to have more of a killer instinct about him and a cutthroat step on their throat. Give me the ball at the end of games. He has the defensive mismatch. Murray doesn't, and there's been the last two games. It's just some of the passes that he's making that I just think he should be putting that ball on the floor or he should be taking that ball to the hoop. He is the most skilled big man in the league when it comes to footwork and a soft touch. There is him and Daylight in terms of who's number two. And I haven't seen him like sort of just dominating the way I want him to, when we know that if we look at this series, Murray is going to struggle. And Murray is a guy who is either going to give you a 3-point shot or a big outside shot, or he's going to find a seam in the lane, but he's not getting to the line at the end of the games. Joker does. And I think that in this series, whilst I agree with both of you that perhaps Murray needs to make that leap and he's got the tools to do it. This is a series, and you can only play series by series and what you're playing against. Joker needs to be giving them more, and for that reason, it should be 2-2 right now, and it's not. And for that reason, it's gonna be tough for them to get it, to get it 1-7.
I don't think the Clippers are going to drop another game against Denver right now. I just think they're showing why on the court. But I'm going to be really disappointed, if Joker comes back next year and he's not serious. If he comes back in fucking flabby again, like he did this he's fucking lucky there was COVID, man. He's lucky. Because they gave him time to get in basketball shape.
I think you're the only person in the world that has said it's lucky there was COVID.
I know, that's really not. I shouldn't have said that. What I should have said, he's lucky he had some time off. Okay, that's what I should have said. I gave him time to get back in shape, to drop some weight, but they wouldn't have made it past Utah if he was in the bubble in that shape earlier in the year, which was such a disappointment. The way they lost to Portland the year before, and I know I've said it, I think I maybe even said it last show, but this Denver squad, the potential's there, like you're saying, Vince. But if he's going to be the franchise guy, then he's got to be the franchise guy.
I think in due course, you will see that Murray will take over as the franchise guy.
I kind of get that same vibe, hey?
Well, I think he needs to get in line behind my guy.
Tell him.
Wait till they bring in Kevin Porter Jr., mate. You'll have the Porter Jr. brothers.
Oh, God.
1-2 punch.
Do you want to
Kevin, I'm telling you, Kevin's going to be good.
Hey, Kevin is going to be good.
Kevin Porter Jr., mate. You just remember those words.
I don't think they need to. Yeah, I mean, look, Millsap looks pretty old in this series.
Done, right?
I don't know if he's done. I don't know. I think he's got to go into that phase of his career where he becomes a specialist at something, or they, a team that can use him in a certain capacity. But if you consider the rest of their roster and who they've got and the ages of who they've got,
yeah.
I keep the coach, I keep the guys, and I develop them and keep them together. Salary-wise, they can afford to do it for another couple of seasons before anybody's really a flight risk. There are, honestly, if you look at it on paper, there are 27 teams that go, fuck, I'd take that.
Have you guys given up on Gary Harris?
No, not yet.
It's close though, right?
He's just had a rotten luck with injuries.
I feel like he'll go to another team and blow up. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, you're probably right. He's had a lot of injury problems,
but he's just, I don't know, man. Yeah, I agree with that. He has, but he's just also just playing. I don't know. He's been in Denver his whole career, and
yeah, sometimes a fresh start's good, but he doesn't
definitely had moments.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. He's not afraid of a big shot. Yeah, he's fearless, but his body lets him down.
Yeah. He's a poor man, CJ McConnell. Really poor. Sorry.
I do like CJ.
Sorry, Gaza, as we call him on the streets. Anyway.
Benson, what is going on in?
Mate, we're in totally different areas of Sydney. His area could be affected fucking by, I don't know. Could be a gas leakage.
You've got to have a special card to get into Benson's bloody area in Sydney.
Community.
Your community, the Benson. It's a suburb now.
We call it the Gables, and it's a gated community. You can fucking stay out.
Wow.
Oh boy.
You can come to the Christmas party, but apart from that, yep, stay up.
Only if you bring gifts though.
So what are we willing to predict who's going to be our Eastern Conference Finals, who's going to be our Western Conference Finals, and who's going to be our NBA finalists? Let's
do it. I definitely think we're having an LA Western Conference Finals. I think LA are going to win it. Play safe, Wayno. Play safe.
Yeah. Both LA teams to advance, and then LA should go to the final. Yeah, okay.
Right.
I'll tell you what, man, the Clippers worry me. Only because of one man. I'm not worried about Paul George or anyone else. It's just that.
Zubac, right?
Yeah, Zubac, man, he's unstoppable. What are we going to do?
My NBA Finals is the Lakers beating Houston. I'm just telling you that right now. Like everything, right? If Houston's win and they win the championship, I'm playing the bubble card so hard next season. So hard. Nah.
Doesn't count.
Bubble championship, asterisk doesn't count. Sorry. Null void. And in the Eastern Conference, yeah, I've got Toronto, Miami, and I think Miami have got the goods. I think they can do it. Jimmy.
Boston's coming out of there, mate.
Wow. So you can Boston Lakers? How good?
Oh, yeah.
That feels too rigged. No.
It's rigged. Turn it up.
Conspiracy bubble.
It does make the championships feel a little bit better when they're against Boston.
True.
Do you reckon in 20 years that the Grizzlies would have at least made the NBA Finals once?
Morant will be MVP.
For the Lakers, yeah, probably.
Finals MVP.
When he's in LA at the Lakers.
How dare you? I don't like your tone.
I'm gonna. What's he say? Speak it into existence.
Don't put that into the universe. I'm
gonna speak it into existence.
How dare you?
Have you seen Rob Pelinka's hair? Man, he's doing a Pat Riley impersonation.
What?
Yeah, it's. I'm not sure. I didn't catch the back, but I'm pretty sure there might be a ponytail, a little one.
No way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Actually, I'm not pretty sure. I'm 50-50. But yeah, it was slick back. It was back. It's like, mate, that's it. You need to get out and get a haircut. But yeah, doing a Pat Riley impersonation. How good of a job has Pelinka done? Seriously.
Pretty good.
Remember when Wayne poo-pooed him?
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
How could you not be a fan?
No, sorry.
Seriously, speaking of Pat Riley, is he just the master?
Yes.
Just building teams?
Yeah. Yep.
Is he the new Jerry West?
Yeah.
He's right up there, isn't he? It's amazing.
Oh, it's crazy. Bill Simmons had Andre Iguodala on the Ringer podcast the other day, and Iggy was talking about it and just talking about like how he sat down and met with him when when the whole Memphis sitting out sort of thing was going through, and he was just like the dude is just an encyclopedia. He knows everything. He's just you've heard the stories, like he puts the rings out on the table.
Yeah.
Like when he's trying to convince people, he's just like, this is other GMs and other managers can tell you things. He said, but this is what it's all about. And he just like that. That's a mad flex.
Yeah, that'd get me over the line. Tell you that much. Championship ring, yeah, that's what we're here for. The money's great, but at the end of the day, when players retire, they want at least a ring to take with them.
That roster, though, like I'm telling you, and that's why I'm convinced they're coming out of the East, that roster and just watching the way that they play and have been handling themselves and how deep they are and, like, just what they're getting out of these guys, like Dragic, like you said, like Goran's just playing out of his brain. You've got Duncan Robinson, who's just it's weird when he misses. It's weird when he misses. You watch him shoot, and when it rims out, he's like, whoa, what? Like, it's just, you expect it to go in. He's an absolute marksman. Hero is just a gun. He's like 20 fucking years old, and he has just got the nuts on him. Like, it's a real solid team. Bam's great. Jimmy's great. You've got
great. Crowder played well in that closeout game as well. Like, just
Crowder's playing good. Iggy's playing good. Bloody Olenek's playing great minutes for them. I mean, but we always knew he had it in him.
Iggy's not playing that good. I'm not ready to give him props. Olenek played well.
He has got a bad ankle at the moment.
Yeah.
Is Olenek finally turning into the Dirk Nowitzki that Wayne's always wanted?
Oh, he's not quite there, but he's
okay. He's close. He's got close.
Pretty close. It's if you squint, you know who you're watching.
He's only 40,000 points behind, but he's getting there.
Canadian Nowinski, okay?
Oh, he could be the next Dirk. Was that what you said? Something like that.
No, you've twisted it all and you've run with this for about 5 years now. So I'm just going to let you have it. Anyone interested who wants to know what I said could fucking contact me and I'll let them know. I'll let you have your moment.
I'm pretty sure he said
I don't want to rock the boat.
is Kelly Olynyk. He could be the next Dirk Nowitzki because he's 7 foot and light.
Oh.
It was either him or Robert Swift.
Yeah.
What I said was, I'm not even going to bother. You're just jetting me up. God damn you.
Here it comes. Watch out. Here it comes.